Hey, good evening, everyone. Today's conversation is about retention, keeping students for a long time. And based on our success with the um, studios we run, uh, there are three plus studios that we have ran for several years now. And I think in the last one, I talked about how to get enrollments and how to get students. Today, we'll talk about the retention formula. It's not about any tricks or discounts or working harder. It's just about something much more stable, much more powerful. Retention is what turns a studio into a community and revenue into predictability. As we are building this community, the studios that are participating are already seeing success. The studios that last aren't the ones with most talent or trophies or winning the competitions. They are the ones that actually have long term loyalty from the participants, from the students. So, I'm going to show you today how retention is designed, not hoped for, and how studios keep students for 5, 7, or even 10 years on purpose. So, so let's dive right into it. Most studios think growth comes from more marketing, but real growth comes from fewer exits. If you keep students longer, everything stabilizes: staffing, scheduling, cash flow, culture. I talked about these things in the last conversation. I also went over uh, techniques. So you guys can, those of you who may have missed that, you can go and watch the recording. Now, here's the shift. When students leave, it's rarely sudden. It's usually very quiet and gradual. It's not like you come in one day and students have disappeared, right? And retention, as I always say, it's not an emotional issue. It is always a system issue. So now let's look at why students really leave. Students don't wake up one day and say they're going to quit dance. They slowly disconnect. They stop feeling clear. Parents may stop feeling confident. And eventually, leaving feels easier than staying. Your job is to make that difficult. What looks like a scheduling issue or a budget issue is almost always an emotional journey for your student that broke somewhere along the way. So you want to keep tabs on that and make sure that if a student hasn't shown up for a class, if student is lacking clarity on their progress, then that you always have to ask this A plus question, that there is something you're not doing. If there is a slow disconnect and there's lack of clarity, maybe you're not providing feedback, maybe you're not emotionally challenging the student. If they don't show up for a class, you're not following up and saying, hey, your instructor is waiting for you, where are you? And then sometimes students are sick, checking on their well-being, right? Now keep in mind, some of this has to be done through your own voice. I mean, I've talked about automation, right? Automation doesn't help here. You have to, either your staff or the instructor teaching should personally call. So now, guys, after working with so many studios, right? I've noticed something consistent. Uh, every studio, no matter the size, falls into one of these three narratives. It is not based on talent, it's not passion, it's based on how intentionally retention is designed. Let's walk through it, right? So if you have uh, an example of Studio One, which is like a reactive studio, is what I like to call it. You're working hard, really hard. You're answering all the messages nonstop. You're fixing excuse me. You're fixing problems as they come. You care deeply, but everything is reactive. Communication happens when something breaks. You see, retention depends on how much energy leadership has that month. Do you understand what I mean by that? If you're high energy, you're going to have high retention. You fall low on energy because your staff is not responding, or God forbid you fall sick for a week and you're not able to attend. That will have an impact. Now, students are not going to leave dramatically at that point, but they quietly start fading after a year or two. So that's the reactive studio example I'm giving. Now, the reason this studio will lose students is because Studio One doesn't fail because the owner doesn't care. They fail because nothing is intentionally guiding the emotional journey of the student. You follow? Parent progress is not visible. Parents don't know what's coming next, and communication only shows up when there's an issue. Uncertainty, not dissatisfaction, is what pushes families away. So now let's go to studio number two, where you're not reactive, you're a little more organized but fragile. I call this the organized but fragile studio. It looks good on paper. The studio looks good really on paper. Schedules are clear, policies are documented, systems exist, but retention has leaks. Why is that? Because efficiency alone doesn't create connection, you see. Studio 2 is stable until it isn't. And when stress hit, family starts drifting. This is the most frustrating studio to be. Everything is right, but something still feels off. That's because organization without emotional connection feels transactional. Imagine you're a parent and you're paying the tuition every month, and your student goes in for a class and you provide feedback, but a hello, a connection with the parent is not created. And families don't stay loyal to transaction, they stay loyal to journeys. So you come in and you say parent one, parent two, and you talk to the child about their progress, right? So now studio three is I'm calling that the intentional retention studio. Studio three feels different the moment you walk in. There's a calm, there's a clarity, there's direction. So your system, your processes, your empathy, your design of the studio, all of that shows a little bit of warmth. So what makes a warm studio? Um, in one of our studios, we teach Indian classical dance. So the pictures of the gods that, or the deities that our audience prays to, right? They say their prayers, holding those plants, and again the demeanor when a student walks in, they take off their shoes. When they meet their teacher, they give a salute, sort of a bow to the teacher. The teachers are very strict, hold their students to a sense of discipline. The teacher student relationship is a formal one, where an element of discipline taught in the dance is gratifying and is checked upon, how it perpetuates itself into other parts of the student's life. This kind of calm, clarity, direction is design. So then families know where they are, right? Your program is designed for 10 years, 8 years. They look forward to a competition at the end of the day. And you create a sense of belonging. And if a child for some reason is not doing well, you notice. If the child's um, you know performance, sense of attention, you're reporting that back to the parents and trying to work with them. So the studio does not chase retention, but your product is created in such a way that retention follows your studio, not your studio following the retention, if you get my rhythm. So I want to cover the formula. After managing running 3 studios, I finally come to a conclusion, right? So I talked about this earlier, the reactive studio and the fragile studio and the retention studio, and what um, what things are different between each type. So I'll put these slides for you in the group, so you guys can go ahead and uh, review these. I want to get to the retention formula. The studios that we run today are 3 systems that we have intentionally created. Not more effort, but a formal design. So we create an intentional emotional journey. So when the curriculum is designed, uh, each uh, milestone is celebrated with a flag, or you can think of the kung fu belt system. So you have to celebrate that in front of all the other students. So there's an element of pride. We also have competitions at the end of certain milestones. So students have to win those competitions. The other thing is visible growth milestones. Because at the end of each dance type, after a certain number of years, there should be certain element of growth that comes in. And it is not just in dance moves, it's also in emotional intelligence. Because we have studied our students, and we are finding that a lot of our students that have stayed with us for 8, 10, 12 years, they tend to go into tier 1 or tier 2 universities. Why? Their left and right brain connection is simulated with dance. There's chemistry behind uh, the dance elements, and I think one of the studies we want to do in the coming future is look at the different dance types and how that is simulating neurology. The third system, first system is the emotional journey, second is the growth milestones, and third is the calm, predictable communication rhythm. You know how it is, you get used to things. Like, if I, let's say for my wife, if I left a rose for her every day by the bedside, and she's gonna be like, what the hell, bob, bob hasn't bought roses ever. But now, rose 1 day 1, rose 2 day 2, rose 3 day 3, goes on for about 10 days, and 11th day the rose is not there, and she's like, what the heck, why is it, what happened today, right? So repetition creates a rhythm. It creates a sense of curiosity. It also creates a sense of predicament, right? And it also creates expectation. And so when you create communication rhythms that are practical, that are communicated, that helps with the calm of not only the teachers, because teachers have gotten it out of their systems and they know they care, and their students know where they are. And today with AI, we can provide feedback. We are building in CircleRAM, we are building these kinds of systems today where you don't have to spend a whole lot of time, but the system can get to know your students and you can provide feedback really quickly. So when these three exist together, your retention becomes predictable. So I want to talk to you about designing each one, because again, like, we don't want to do this by chance, correct? So because uh, you guys are going to be dealing with I would say a lot of different types of dances, right? And different variety of students. And I mean, we've got customers in the South, West Coast, East Coast. I mean, the audience is different. Our students are different. But one thing that's common, they're all humans. They all want to be seen, not just taught. When students feel seen, especially our younger ones, right? Teenagers and young adults, they are all about, hey, look, I can do this, right? So you teach them, but you also see where they are. And you celebrate their successes on your social media. Make sure you get permission for pictures posting and all that through a one pager that you can have them sign at the time of when they sign up, right? Now, parents want guidance, because parents are not experts at any dance type. They may be, but not more, like 95% of them are not. But you have to give them guidance, and in effect, one of the things you can do is, as you are teaching the children, their kids, about dance, and if you are informative about um, the guidance, you might be selling adult classes in the same dance type. I mean, if, let's say, you've got a young daughter who's learning ballet, and you're giving uh, detailed progress about how she tippy toes, how she dances, and all the details, maybe mom or dad might get excited about learning ballet. So why not, right? You can start filling classes and enhance your programs that way. This is what I mean by the emotional journey. The emotional journey should answer one silent question over and over again. You want to know what that question is? Are we in the right place? Are we in the right place? So, when you answer that question, students will feel seen, they'll feel safe, you'll create a sense of belonging, because when you create referral programs, like I said in the previous discussions, parents will invite other parents into the dance studio. And even if you're a little bit expensive, they'd rather have their kids to be together. You know how it is. Kids in the same middle school, elementary school, they want to stay together. So this is the design. And parents will enroll their students for classes, but they'll stay for identity, because when you design this intentionally and you focus on their identity and building their identity, I guarantee you can't go wrong. And I think I went through this journey with my own studios. I also went back and wrote a book called Finding Your Identity, a Journey. And I've got three kids who are going through, well, one kid and two adults, I should say, one 20-year-old, and then there's also a 40-year-old man that is finding his identity. And That book might be very helpful for you guys in sharing it with your students, and it also helps build a little bit of empathy on being introspective and growth. So now, uh, most parents have anxiety when they sign up their student, right? Just think about whenever you sign up for something new, right? You'll have anxiety. So parents' anxiety comes from not knowing what progress looks like. See, when growth is unclear, comparison creeps in. My child is not doing as well as the other. When you have to make sure you make clear that each child is unique. You can't compare because one child, um, might be different, and especially in early age, kids are catching up with their development. Correct. And no one is more smarter than the other. It's just everyone is where they're supposed to be. And so that can be cajoled with your communication and progress reports. When growth is clear, patience increases. Think about that. When growth is unclear, parents ask questions, they lose motivation. Students will lose motivation, they start comparing. But when growth happens, when growth clarity is there, then they're more patient. Oh, yeah, my child is not using her left foot. Teacher is working with her on her left foot moves, and she's tracking progress, and she'll let us know, right? So that creates a sense of trust because parents are trusting their most, their family, the most. I don't want to call the word valuable because it's not a thing. These are our children, right? And when that trust is installed with you, you have to deepen the trust, you have to deepen the commitment. And you're not at that point about your money. Oh, well, you haven't paid, right? Don't be the emergency room that says, fill out this freaking form uh, before I check your bleeding heart. No, no. Parents will pay. Don't worry. Give the service, right? So when you deepen the trust, when you deepen your commitment, that makes for patience. And then when you have that clarity, parents will stay. And even if you're charging 10, 15, $20 higher, my God, uh, it's fine. You have to provide the service. I mean, just think rhetorically, right? Wouldn't you go to places where you get the service, right? Now, what growth milestones actually do? Now, I don't need to tell you what growth milestones to set. Although, if you need assistance, we can work with you on. Hey, I'm teaching this class at this level, this age group, this area. Can you help us design the milestones? And yeah, we can do that. You know, we can help you do that. No problem. So the point of growth milestones is milestones are created so students don't have to rush forward. Milestones are created to slow the exits. Milestones are created to anchor expectations and normalize the pace. And it reduces fear, but it creates motivation. I had to really think about this. Like when I'm creating these milestones, what the heck am I trying to achieve? But what it's doing is it's telling everyone that, okay, if you want to compare yourself, you can go through a milestone in 3 months. Some people go through it in 6 months. And people, moms come, moms come and sometimes ask me, is my child going to finish this milestone on time? If If she doesn't, does she have a learning disability? No, not at all. It's just we are not experts on learning disability, right? We are experts in teaching dance, creating steps. Now, we are going to get students in all form factors who may have a learning disability or not. The point is, we are going to show the same love to all of them and make sure they succeed. But it does anchor expectation, normalize the pace, and creates motivation without fear. Students don't need to be the best, in my opinion. They just need to know what's next. And when their internal drive, when they're internally inspired to move to the next step, things begin moving. Parental pressure, I've seen a lot in our community, doesn't work. No. Kids have to be self driven. That's why more you can help with their identity, better life will be. So they're not going to come here to just learn dance. They're going to come to learn dance and develop their identity. Now, I've seen a lot of studios over communicate, not intentionally. They respond faster, not rhythmically. They talk often, but not predictably. That can be problematic. See, what you have inside you is going to become your studio. What is in your studio will propagate into your customers. It's that simple. It's a physics principle of resonance. Take a tuning fork that vibrates at 512 megahertz and then 256 megahertz and then 128 megahertz. And just put one tuning fork next to the other at equal distance, and you will see when you uh, when you get one tuning fork moving at a certain frequency, the others start vibrating consistently. I love physics and I like to use that for everything. So, my rhythm, even in these sessions, is love. Why am I doing this? Right? We hosted a session on Christmas Day. Why would I do that? Why? Well, we have learned from our three studios things that we can help accelerate other studios, right? So, our goal is not here for money. Our goal is knowledge sharing. Our goal is currency of time. And I know you guys are busy. I know you need to have your time. I know you need to relax. That's why when I create these sessions in Smart Studio Circle, I record them. All you have to, and it's free. You just join and you can go back and watch the recordings anytime you want. So again, on communication side, don't respond fast. Create predictable rhythms. Like schedule your time to respond to emails maybe once a day and let everyone know they'll get a response within 24 hours. If something is a 911, tell them to call you, give them your office number, cell number, whatever, right? But when you talk in newsletters, talk in progress. End of the year is coming. You should send a notification to all your students on what their respective progress has been. Help them with an exercise for setting goals for 2026. More goals they set, more ambitious you are with their goals, more accountable you hold them, more money you make. That's what I mean by communicating with a purpose, with prediction. And the communication then looks like it is care. So now, daily alignment on communication keeps the team calm. So we have a daily stand up with each of our studio members. We have a weekly touch point with parents. So if we have a studio with 300 students, 300 parents, we're going to distribute that work among five, six, seven teachers we have, and each teacher will send a progress note by on a given day that is scheduled, that's communicated with the parents. There's monthly reinforcement, keeping progress visible. So you as a studio owner, or if you have a manager, and if you're not an owner operator but an entrepreneur, then you have a manager. And your manager, she is keeping uh, giving monthly feedback to every staff member. Each staff member is creating a monthly report for the student, telling them how they are doing. Maybe you have some kind of a benchmark metric that you have created that they can fill in quickly. And you can use AI to create these. And you have seasonal reassurance that prevents stress driven exits. You can, if you're observing patterns where students may not do well while they're going through finals in school, things, or if kids are looking forward to summer break and they're kind of checked out, right? Communicating this kind of stuff with parents, say, oh yeah, my kid is chilling, I need to get her to refocus. So this kind of consistency will build confidence. The rhythm creates safety without you getting overwhelmed. And you can plan your work, right? So now what happens is, when all this communication stuff and so on happens, retention becomes predictable. So here's the shift most studio haven't made yet, right? Retention to be predictable. Drop off signals show up in weeks, sometimes months before a student leaves. Sorry, I'm messing up here. Apologies. So what I'm saying is, retention is now predictable. If students are starting to drop off, it'll show up in their attendance. If you monitor that, you'll prevent it. And you catch it in days, not weeks or months. Attendance pattern change, engagement shifts, tone changes in communication. If someone was very accommodating, now show anxiety. Sometimes a family may be going through some uh, heavy burden shifts. God forbid if a family member has passed away, or the couple is not getting along for whatever reason, etc., etc. It's visible. It's visible. And what you do is not take that personally, but the be there for the family. So again, signal. It's all about signals, right? So the way our product CircleRAM.ai does is, we don't replace the relationship, we protect them. So we can surface early risk signals, highlight who needs attention, and support proactive outreach so retention doesn't rely on memory or exhaustion. Uh, my take is, technology supports leadership, it doesn't replace it. So you ought to look at CircleRAM.ai for that reason. Again, that's not my main reason for hosting these, but systems do help, right? Now, retention doesn't improve by doing more, it improves by designing better. You have to design the journey, name the progress, and communicate with intention. everything else I think will follow, right? So that's the purpose of this share today. So final thought, students don't lose, or studios don't lose students immediately, they lose students slowly. But when you align, when you design your alignment with your students, retention will become natural. And this is the shift that you can create from being reactive to intentional. And you can convert enrollment to loyalty from year to year. And we have seen students that are been with us 5 years and beyond. So I hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you have questions, please do ask. Otherwise, I'm really thankful for your time and for attending this morning. I will morning in Pacific Standard Time. So I know there might be afternoon for some of you. So I'll post the recording for you guys for this. For some of you, maybe just joining, or those of you who may want to watch offline, along with a copy of the slide deck for you. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of Monday. And I must say, a joyful New Year's. I'm actually hosting a conversation or a talk on Jan 1st. Come join us. Grab a cup of coffee, or maybe if your studio is closed that day, a glass of wine, and come sit and enjoy some time with us. And we'll also chit chat about what else we are trying to do for next year. We have big plans, folks, for next year. My team has designed over 100 plus sessions that we are going to host on, I think it's Monday and Thursday, respectively, right? And I hope to see you guys in some of them. So on Jan 1st, we're going to talk about how to create referrals. And that is like 70% of our growth, because families like to bring other families. So yeah. Any questions from anyone? I can give you guys the floor, or you can also put your questions in chat for me if you'd like. And yeah. Ken, the recording will be in the same place where you click to join, because once I hang up, I think the studio recording system takes about, I think, 30 minutes, and then the link appears automatically. And then I'm also getting my team to send an email out to everyone. And we're also going to post this on our, people have been saying, post these recordings in, what do you call, social media. So we'll do that too. But yeah, that's where you find them, Ken. Any other thoughts, comments, or questions? Yeah, Ken, please go ahead. Do you have voice, or do I need to make you a co-host? I just made you a co-host, so you can unmute and chat. Ken, if you can hear me, you'll need to accept the co-host and then unmute and chat. Or you can ask, unless you've already asked your question in the chat. Okay, yeah, definitely. Yeah, we want to be very agile with whatever we are doing. So, okay, I see you now. You have joined. So you're welcome to unmute, and we can chit chat a little more if you like.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to say I just saw the email about the meeting today, and so I appreciate the fact that you're making a recording of it. I was just going to say, any options that you have of making it available for people who aren't necessarily. My granddaughter's crying in the background.
No problem. Fine.
Anyway,
I can hear you. Keep going.
Okay. That'll be helpful for people, with their schedules if they can't make the live thing. And then I think it also will help with the growth of like getting other people with other studios and stuff involved too. When the more information you have out there and the accessibility to it.
Yes, sir. And if you, we have been hosting these sessions, I think, since early mid October, I think. So there should be a recording for each one of them.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I was able to catch one. Oh gosh, it was probably several weeks ago. Was the first one that I
Hmm.
saw, and I thought it was pretty helpful. So I'm
Right.
looking forward to being a part of it,
Thank you. Yeah, we
and
love.
appreciate your work.
Yes, yes. I'm really excited about it, sir. And we want 2026 to be a big year for everybody. We are launching a dance studio directory with
Right.
about 12,000 plus dance studios in United States. Um, so that's coming live, I think, in first week of January. We are working on getting you guys tools with SEO for sales and marketing to make that reality. We have a management system that's operating system that several uh, thousand studios are using worldwide. So yeah,
Wow.
I mean, we are making progress in a lot of different areas, but my personal intention is, I own three studios myself, and I want to basically become a business consultant
Right.
through this network. So it can be one-on-one. I mean, we have a place to celebrate your successes. But if somebody needs guidance, assistance, and support, hey, I'm doing this or that. We have done that kind of consulting already with many to help
Yeah,
increase their revenue. So
that's great. And how long ago did you start with your first studio?
9 years ago.
9 years. Great. Okay. Yeah, our studio has been around for 22. But yeah, I do see on different dance studio owner forums and things. There's always people looking for guidance, whether they are just starting out or whether they've been doing it for decades.
Yeah.
You never stop learning, and so I think what you're doing is great, and I definitely think there's a need, uh, you know, for the services that you're, providing and wanting to provide.
Yeah, when we have gone through Dance Teacher web conference and spoken to people, that's where the request really came from. And
Yeah,
we said, okay, well, let's share what we know, and then from time to time we'll bring in experts that that will provide the guidance.
right. Yeah. Well, great. Well, thank you for your time, and yeah, I look forward to continuing to be a part of this, and as things come up that maybe I can dive more into taking advantage of or signing up for, I'll certainly be considering that as well.
Thank you, Mr. Ken. And if
Great.
there's a event you see there where you feel you can contribute, we'd love to have your guidance as well, given your experience.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm still learning as I go, but
I
but
know. Well, we are
yeah,
learners for life.
that's
Uh,
right.
we know little something of something, and but then Lord has given us this brain. When we ask an A+ question, it always provides a response. And now combined with AI, we can do a lot of cool
That's right.
things.
Yep. Great. Well, all right. Well, thank you for taking my question and putting me on, and I look forward to more interaction.
Thank you, Mr. Ken. Have a happy new year, sir.
You too. Happy New Year.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye bye.